Hello friends, in this video we are going to get familiar with the volume 2 of IMDG code. Volume 2 contains the dangerous goods list, which is very important for second mate orals as well as for practically on board. So let's get started. We have already discussed part 1, part 2, 4, 5, 6 and 7 in the volume 1 of IMDG code. Now the volume 2 of IMDG code contains part 3, which is the DG list, special provisions and exceptions. The bulk of volume 2 of IMDG code is covered by the dangerous goods list. The next thing that is given in this volume is Appendix A, which is list of generic and not otherwise specified proper shipping names, and Appendix B, which is glossary of terms, and also the index is given in this volume. Part 3 is the dangerous goods list, special provisions and exceptions. This is an extract from the contents of the volume 2 of IMDG code. Under part 3, chapter 3.1 is general, 3.2 is the dangerous goods list, 3.3 special provisions, 3.4 dangerous goods packed in limited quantities, and 3.5 is dangerous goods packed in accepted quantities. Now let us straight away go to the DG list and understand what it is. This is an extract from the DG list. This is page 1 and this is page 2. So the DG list is presented across 2 pages of the IMDG code and is divided into 18 columns. You can see here these are 18 columns. Much of the information contained in the DG list is coded to make it easier to present in a table. So you can see all these codes right here, right? Column 1 and column 18 of the DG list are UN number. So if you want to look up to any entry in the DG list, you just need to have the UN number and you can go straight to that number in the list. Now in case you don't have the UN number, we will be talking about this later in this video. So column 1, as I already told you, is the UN number, and UN number goes in an increasing order. You can see here 1325, 1326, 1327. So this goes in an increasing order. The next column is the proper shipping name. The proper shipping name in this column are given in capital letters and it may be followed by additional descriptive text like this in the lowercase letters. The third column contains the class or subdivision. We have already discussed the 9 classes and their subdivisions. So for example, the class or subdivision of this is 4.1. 4.1 is flammable solids. Now column number 4 is subsidiary risk. This column contains the class number of any subsidiary risk. So if you look here, hafnium powder wetted does not has a subsidiary risk. So now let us take an example of phosphorus pentasulfide. If we look at phosphorus pentasulfide, this has a subsidiary risk of 4.1. So what does this mean? This means that this substance is of class 4.3, but it possesses the risk of class 4.1 as well. So this is what is subsidiary risk. The subsidiary risk column also identifies a dangerous good as marine pollutant or a severe marine pollutant. If P is written in this column somewhere, then the substance is a marine pollutant, and if double P is written, then the substance is a severe marine pollutant. So you can see that this substance is a marine pollutant. Next column is the packing group. This number which is present here, 2.0.1.3, this tells us that which part of IMDG code tells us about the packing groups. So we have already discussed these packing groups. In the last video, we discussed that packing group 1 is for high danger, 2 is for medium danger, and packing group 3 is for low danger. So these packing groups are assigned according to the degree of danger this substance possesses. For hafnium powder wetted, packing group 2 is assigned. That means that this possesses medium danger. Now the next column is special provisions. This column contains a number referring to any special provision which is indicated in chapter 3.3. So this is an extract from chapter 3.3. A list of number is given here and against that number some special provisions are given. So after special provisions, the next column is limited quantities. This column provides the maximum quantity per inner packaging or per article for transporting dangerous goods as limited quantities. So for this substance, the limited quantity is 1 kg. This means that this substance can be transported in accordance with the provisions of limited quantities, which is chapter 3.4, but the quantity should be not more than 1 kg. And wherever 0 is given in this column, like for this substance 0 is given here, this means this substance is not permitted to be transported in accordance with the provisions of limited quantities. This is the marking for packages containing limited quantities. The next column is 7b, which is accepted quantities. This column provides alphanumeric codes described in chapter 3.5, which indicate the maximum quantity for transporting dangerous goods as accepted quantities. Now you can see E1, E2, E0, E1, E1. What does these mean? Let's have a look in chapter 3.5. So this is an extract from chapter 3.5. You can see these codes E0, E1, E2, E3, E4, E5 is given. E0 means that it is not permitted as accepted quantity. E1 means that the maximum net quantity per inner packaging is 30 grams and per outer packaging it is 1000 grams and so on. So the code here for hafnium powder wetted is E2. Let us look what E2 says. So E2 says that maximum quantity per inner packaging shall not be more than 30 gram or 30 ml if liquid and 500 gram or 500 ml in case of outer packaging when this cargo is transported in accepted quantities. This is the accepted quantities marking. Now moving on to the next column. Next column is packing instruction and packing provision. These are both indicated in part 4.1.4. As I told you in the previous video, there are numerous of packing instructions and packing provisions given in the volume 1 of IMDG code. So packing instruction code for this substance is P410 and packing provision is PP31 and PP40. So what we do is we look for these codes in volume 1 of IMDG code in part 4.1.4. So I found this packing instruction code P410 in part 4 of the IMDG code, and also special packing provisions PP31 and PP40 are listed here. So it is as simple as that. You are given a code here. It has been told that where to find this code. We have to find it in part 4, chapter 4.1.4, and you can go to that chapter and easily find out. Now whenever there is LP given in this column, like here it is given LP, LP stands for large packaging. Now moving on to the next column, packing instructions for IBCs and packing provisions for IBCs. So for packing instructions for IBC for this substance, the IBC packing instruction code given here is IBC06 and provision is B21. So we look for this code in chapter 4.1.4. So this is the packing instructions for IBC, and we also have B21, which is the special packing provision for IBC. Now moving on to the next column, column 12 is reserved and it is unnamed. You can see that there are no entries in column 12. Now this column 13 contains T codes applicable to the transport of dangerous goods in portable tanks and road tank vehicles. You can see for hafnium powder wetted, code T3 is given here. So we can look for code T3 in chapter 4.2.5 and 4.3, and special tank provision code TP33 is given here. So we can look this in 4.2.5 in the similar way that we did earlier. Now wherever there is a T code and a TP code not provided in this column, like for this substance here, this means that this dangerous good is not authorized for transport in tanks. And wherever code BK is given, this refers to the type of bulk containers used for transport of bulk goods. Now you must be seeing that for everything in the DG list, certain codes are given, and full expansion of these codes are given mostly in volume 1 of the code. This is done to make the DG list easily readable and easy to refer. Now next column is the EMS. EMS stands for emergency schedules. This column refers to the relevant emergency schedule for fire and spillage. The emergency schedule guide is in the supplement of the IMDG code. So let us look at these two codes here. The first code which is given, which is starting from F, refers to the actions to be taken in case of fire. And the second EMS code, which is starting from S, refers to the actions to be taken in case of spillage. You will get this very clear when we'll be discussing about the emergency schedules in the supplement of the IMDG code. Now the next column is stowage and handling. This column gives us three things: stowage category, stowage codes, and handling codes. Now you can see here this substance is stowage category echo. We have already discussed the stowage categories in volume 1 of the IMDG code. Category 01 to 05 are for class 1, and for classes 2 to 9 there are category A to category E. The substance that we were looking for had stowage category echo, right? So it can be stored on deck as well as under deck. So let us look at the next substance. Next substance is UN number 1327, hay, straw or bhusa. You might be amazed to know that bhusa, which is a Hindi word, is also a proper shipping name. So this substance lies in stowage category A, and additionally a stowage code is also given. So this stowage code SW10, we will look it in chapter 7.1. So I have already taken out this extract from the IMDG code which contains stowage codes in chapter 7.1. We look for stowage code 10. So this is the additional stowage information for that substance. Also, as I told you, in this column handling codes are also given. So if you look here, this handling code H1 is given here for cerium. Now let us look for this code H1 in 7.1. Now handling code H1 says keep as dry as reasonable practicable. So this is extra handling information which is provided. Column 16B contains segregation codes. You can see capital letters SG followed by the number. So for SG17, let us look. Now in chapter 7.2.8, these segregation codes are given. So for SG17, SG17 says stow separated from class 5.1. So we have to keep this substance hafnium powder wetted separated from class 5.1, right? So the next column is column number 17, which is properties and observations. This column contains properties and observations of the dangerous goods listed. The provisions of this columns are not mandatory and it is given just for extra information. And last column, which is column 18, as I told you, is the UN number. So if you have the UN number of the dangerous cargo with you, you can easily determine everything related to that cargo. Now we are done with the DG list. Let's move on to Appendix Alpha. So Appendix Alpha is basically a list of generic and not other specified proper shipping names. So this is an extract from Appendix Alpha of the IMDG code. All the dangerous goods which are having the words NOS, not otherwise specified, in the DG list are mentioned here in this appendix. So as you can see here in this list, the general and the not other specified names are grouped according to their hazard class or division. Next we have is the Appendix B. It is the glossary of terms. Information about some of the terms is provided in this appendix. As it is mentioned, the provisions of this appendix are not compulsory, they are just for additional information. Next thing that we have in volume 2 is the index. So as I already told you, if you have the UN number of a cargo with you, you can easily enter the DG list and find out all the information about that substance, right? But what if you don't have the UN number with you and just have the name of the dangerous cargo? This question is often asked in the oral examination. So in this case, the UN number can be found out using the index. In the index, substances, materials and articles have been listed in the alphabetical order of their names and their respective UN number, the class to which they belong, and whether they are a marine pollutant or not have been stated in the index. So this is an extract from the index. As these names are in alphabetical order, they can easily be found out. All the entries that you can see in capital letters are the proper shipping names. And wherever the word C is written, like here C is written, here C is written, here C is written, right? It means that it is a synonym or it is another name for the substance mentioned in the DG list. Now let us take an example of acetaldol. Now as you can see, C is written here. That means that this is not the proper shipping name. This is a synonym or another name for that substance. So let's see what the UN number of this substance is. The UN number of this substance is 2839. So now as we know the UN number, we can enter the DG list, and 2839 is here. 2839 is aldol and it is given in capital letters. So from this we come to know that aldol is a proper shipping name for this substance, which is acetaldol, right? So in this way, if you have the proper shipping name or the name of the substance, index can be used to find the UN number for that, and then you can enter the DG list through that UN number and find all the details about that substance. I hope this video fulfilled the purpose for which it was made. I recommend you to go through the IMDG code once so things are even more clear to you. In the next video, we'll be discussing about the supplement of IMDG code, so don't miss that video. Please like this video if you found it useful, share it with your friends, and do hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to never miss a new informative video from our channel.